Boxing Guru podcast. It is me, Sal, Mr. Boxing Guru. Again, welcome to a special edition novela / chisme, whatever you guys want to call it. But again, it's a follow-up on the podcast I did Tuesday. I try to do my podcast on Mondays or Tuesdays, Just want to keep everybody's minds fresh on what happened over the weekend. And at the same time, give you guys something to look forward for the weekend. When it's Modelo time, fool. When it's just time to have a good time, get some ceviche, or do your carne asada and get ready for the big fights that are coming this weekend. Now, again, like I said, I did it on Tuesday, and on Tuesday I was actually very critical of certain fighter named Ryan Garcia. I was very critical. One, for him not taking the fight when the fight was still offered to him. And two, for plain and simply just complaining over something that could have been handled over a phone call. Complaining and giving, folks like me that I like to troll a lot on Twitter and on Instagram, giving me ammo to complain about you, to make fun of you, and rightfully so, because it almost seemed to me, I was almost what we call vergüenza ajena, which is I'm embarrassed for you when folks act a certain way, especially under a professional, what's supposed to be a professional setting. I get it, most of us, as a fan perspective, and that's what I am, a fan. This is what we do to entertain ourselves. We all have our 9 to 5s. We all work and whatnot. But boxing is a way to release stress, or at least to watch it. To release stress, to just have a good time. That's what a lot of fans like to do. So it's all banter, is all fun and games when, again, it's between non-professionals. When it comes to professionals, to take it upon social media and start complaining, asking for the contract release, saying, getting upset because, someone said that you refuse to fight, getting upset because, your promoter mentioned a fighter in your, within the same roster, saying that he was the face of Golden Boy, the new fighter of Golden Boy, the best fighter that Golden Boy had. Getting upset and crying over it, bitching over it, venting over it. It is kind of embarrassing. Again, all fun and games for me. I love it because, again, I get to troll you. But it's kind of embarrassing if you really look at it in a professional manner and say, you know what, something is wrong. There seems to be a pattern because there's always complaining about something. And when I thought things were going to get worse, because I said, okay, this kid's complaining. You've been, what Ryan did out there, and he blasted. He was very vocal of how he felt about Golden Boy and asking for his release. I thought that Golden Boy was going to do it, which in my opinion was the right thing, at least morally, was to say, you know what, son, enjoy the rest of your life. Good luck developing yourself as a fighter, and plain and simple, good luck. Goodbye. Good riddance. On Wednesday, when I was about to go to lunch, and eat this, giant torta that I was gonna have for lunch on Wednesday, I get the news that Ryan Garcia has just signed a lucrative deal, multi-year contract with Golden Boy Promotion. He re-signed with them. It's so lucrative. It's the most lucrative thing. So that to me is very impressive. That means Golden Boy and staff, they're better people than me, because, again, like I said, personally, I would have said, go figure it out. Go to Heyman, go get benched, go to Top Rank and get developed and still not get money that you want. But go on about your business. It already seemed like there was enough turbulence. There was enough turbulence, in my opinion, or enough red flags to say, you know what? I don't want to deal with this fucking headache. I'm out. But what happened was that Golden Boy did the right thing. Well, at least to them. Golden Boy said, you know what, let's do a contract, let's re-sign, let's talk this over regardless of what you said and how your giant conspiracy theory is that we want to do this, or we don't like you, we want to get you beat. Let's re-sign the contract. And again, they see the most lucrative, and then in parentheses, they think they said for a prospect. So, what does that mean to the general public? That means nothing really. If he gets money, good for him, because you know what? The more money that there is in boxing, the better. So again, good for the kid. The lucrative thing, the wording on it, it seemed like there's always a loophole behind a loophole when it comes to marketing a special sell. Whatever they sign for, again, it's nobody's business. But since they put it out there, I got to do a little digging. Based on sources, and shout out to that sorcerer, but based on sources, they say Ryan got about $1.5 million. He did sign for, he redid his contract. The new contract is, according to again these sources, for $7 million across 5 years, which is the most you can do a contract for. Again, good for him. This is all great news. What this means is that Ryan can continue to do a reverse allowance for his, work allergic family, and you continue to support these folks. Again, that's a great thing all around. That's great. That's what he wants. That's what he vented. He wanted more money. He got more money. He started venting again the day of the weigh-in because no fight, no money. So, and opponents were offered. So again, no money. That means you're declining to fight. Again, all this is great. What this equates to. I mean, that's what $7 million. $7 million in 5 years. You figure, again, because he is under a prospect again in parentheses. So prospects would fight, I don't know, 4 times a year. For the next 5 years, that's about 20 fights. That equates to about, $250,000. So that's good money. That's really good money for a prospect. My thing is, in 3 years, he's going to complain about it. But again, that's a whole nother story. Again, great things. Good for Ryan. Not my concern, because again, this isn't my concern. Again, money has never been a factor with me. I don't care about it. I just care about a good fight. That's what every boxing fan should care about. That's all we should care about. But what does this trigger? Because if I'm a boxing manager and I have a prospect in Golden Boy, now you say, okay, you know what? This kid's had a minimum of 15,000 or 10,000 or 20,000, whatever it is. But you're telling me if I bitch and complain on social media, you're going to give me more money? That's the way to do business? Shit, who knew? So you're going to see all these emotional outbursts. You're going to see the Adrian Broner way and just start complaining about a company. For what? For you to go back, sit back in the table and renegotiate the contract. So if I'm a boxing manager and I work for Golden Boy, let's leave let's leave all the other fighters alone. But if I'm Virgil Ortiz's manager, whoever that may be, I think it's his father and somebody else. I'm again not necessarily sure. I don't want to speak out of context there. And Virgil Ortiz's name did get used in that interview with the LA Times, the chubby guy that eats the ice cream at Dodger Stadium. But if I'm that kid, and now he's looking at this Ryan contract for $7 million overall for 5 years, or if you want to, again, like I said, breaking down per fight, which is about $250,000, and he's fighting for less when his name got used as the bigger name, as the bigger upside in Golden Boy. What does that say? Now, if I'm Virgil Ortiz and his team, I'll be like, hey, what the fuck, man? This is what I bring to the table. I know I'm fucking better than Ryan. I know I have more upside. I know that it's almost embedded in me to be a champion fighter. I am a blue chipper. Where is my money and how do I collect it and how quickly do you send it to my PayPal? That's what I'm concerned about. What happens when Jojo Diaz, again, that was an actual Olympian, complains about it? What happened to Joed Gonzalez? What happened to a guy that's in the most lucrative, again, pardon the word here, a division, which is Alexis Ochoa. That again, it's another welterweight that Golden Boy has. Marlene Esparza, which was an Olympian. Ray Vargas is a WBC champion. What happens when those guys see, you're giving this kid this type of money? Where is my cut? That's where I think the expressing yourself or talking about money and social media kind of gets you in trouble if you condone it. I think it might be, like I said, I've always been very vocal about this. I don't think Ryan has much upside. I think the only way to have an upside is if you really save him and make him into, the YouTube fighter that he deserves to be and give him very easy fights. So now the question is on Golden Boy, what are you going to do with this? You're investing all this money. You made this ridiculous contract. It's, again, if it's good for you, I mean, it's great. But do you really believe in Ryan Garcia enough to give him the tough opposition? You're giving him Duno, which is, again, Duno's a very formidable opponent. I have nothing against him. Are you going to give him a Linares fight? Are you going to give him the best that you possibly have? I think half of the roster that Golden Boy has goes through Ryan Garcia fairly easy. Are you going to be able to do that? Or are you going to go find a guy from Minnesota that really can't fight and somehow fight him and go the top ranked way? Try to find unknown guys. That way when it comes to fight night, we really have nothing to criticize. What is really going to happen? And is it a waste of money? Is it money that could be very well spent on developing another fighter, on developing an attraction? And I'm tired of this, social media this. He has this followers. We didn't have fucking followers when Chavez was fighting. We didn't have followers or Instagram, I'm sorry, when De La Hoya was fighting. We had root work where promoters promoted, managers managed, and you created a buzz for a fighter. You can't rely on Instagram following. Is that what it's really worth? If not, I mean, there's applications where fighters could buy all these followers and maybe to create some self-worth, they should go that route. I don't know. I hope Golden Boy didn't do the service with them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit disappointed. And I think for many of the people that know me, know that I'm a big fan of Golden Boy. I want him to succeed. I think the way they match their fighters is fantastic. They match them tough enough to where, sometimes you got to skin the fat and you got to let go of who's ever not producing those good numbers. And not only good numbers, but good fights. So what happens next? Again, I don't know. I personally don't know. But I'm even a bit more embarrassed that I'm talking about this. I've always been the type of person that said, I don't care. I've been very critical of Floyd Mayweather. I've been very critical of guys like Adrian Broner. I've been very critical of fighters that talk about money because I think it not that money is needed. I think on the contrary, these are prize fighters. They should be rewarded as such. But I don't care about your money because at the end of the day, you're not sharing that money with me. Whatever you have in your pocket is all great and it's all yours, and I don't want to hear it. And again, I'm being hard on myself because I let myself get involved in worrying about what this guy was going to get made. This guy was going to make. I'm sorry. I let myself get involved in percentages and whatnot. That's none of my fucking business. My business is to enjoy, to open up a good beer. Take a little trago de tequila, a little shot of tequila. Have a nice little ceviche on the weekend and enjoy these fights. My business is not their pocket. My business is the quality of fights that we get. I hope with this type of money that gets involved, the quality of fights that Ryan Garcia is in, it gets upped, and we start getting good fights because, shit, Golden Boy deserves it. Boxing fans definitely deserves it. What they don't deserve is a bad spot on a great card, like they're doing to us by shoving them in Canelo Kovalev. Speaking of Canelo Kovalev presser was yesterday, and again, that was Wednesday. Today is Thursday, and a couple of things did come to mind. It just seemed a bit odd. I think the the indifference or the lack of respects or disagreements from Canelo towards Oscar is very apparent. It almost bothers you because when you go to a party and the wife is fighting with the husband, but somehow they're trying to fake the funk and they're trying to continue the relationship, the party going. But again, this shit's awkward because you guys, there's obviously some sort of marital problems. That's kind of what I got from Canelo, especially talking about De La Hoya. When Oscar, all Oscar does is mention the Golovkin fight, and I think it's a great fight. I think the fight needs to happen again. Canelo is acting like he wiped the floor with Golovkin, which he didn't. The first fight was arguably lost by Canelo. The second fight he won, but it wasn't like he wiped his ass with him. It's not like he knocked him down. It's not like it was a good fight. I think it was one of Canelo's best performances versus Golovkin. I thought Golovkin really brought the best out of Canelo, and I really enjoyed that fight. So why not make it again? Why get obsessed with Kovalev? Which again, this is not a mismatch. Kovalev versus Canelo is not a mismatch by any stretch of the imagination. When was the last legit fighter that Canelo dropped? Who was it? Was it Fielding? Absolutely not. Fielding is a ballroom fighter. Good kid, tall kid, but that doesn't mean even for 168 pounds, you poked his body and he fell. Who was the last guy that Canelo hurt? He fought Cotto. He didn't do shit to Cotto. I'm not sure if Canelo was just toying with Cotto, but at the end of the day, Cotto was a natural 140 pounder. He fought him at 155 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Again, didn't make a dent on that kid. Yes, he slapped him around the whole fight. He arguably won, maybe 9 rounds out of that fight, but he didn't hurt Cotto. Again, Cotto's a tiny guy. Last guy that Canelo hurt was Amir Khan, and that was that. But everybody knew that he was brought in to for the highlight reel. Everybody knows that once you touch Khan, you're gonna get knocked out. The weakest puncher, I think, even maybe Malignaggi might have hurt Khan. Again, that's just the type of fighter that Amir Khan is, and that's why he was brought in. And again, Amir Khan is a natural 140 pounder. The guy fought as low as 135 pounds, or maybe even lower. But he's a tiny guy. He's a very thin, slim guy that had no business at 154 pounds. Or 155 where he met Canelo for the 160 pound belt. But that's the last guy he hurt. I can't remember the last guy. I don't know. I can't remember the last guy. And to say, oh, you know what? He's going to destroy Kovalev to the body. How? I get it. Kovalev doesn't like it in the body. What Eastern European does? That's not their bread and butter. That's not what they do. That's not how they're trained to fight. So, can he get him to the body? Absolutely. Is it going to be easy? No. Kovalev, the last thing to go is power. So, this is a fight. I'm not saying Kovalev's going to, mop the floor with him, but if I'm a betting man, I'm putting my money on Kovalev. That's going to be the easy bet. How is Canelo going to get in with that? Going to get in that jab? The size difference is pretty big. You saw the size difference between Canelo and Daniel Jacobs, and that was good enough to keep or to not be a stationary target for Canelo. So I don't understand how Canelo is going to hurt Kovalev just because he hurt Rocky Fielding. In no way, shape, or form is Kovalev a Rocky Fielding. Completely different monster. Just remember, guys, if you guys see Kovalev stop Canelo or Canelo quits in the corner, do not be surprised. That jab is a monster. The jab was a monster versus, he was the winning factor, the knockout factor in his last fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kovalev pulls it off again. I'm not saying that it's a for sure thing. I'm just saying that it is a huge possibility. It is a fight. Don't knock this fight. I don't like folks knocking this fight. I think it's as legitimate as any fight at 160. I wouldn't say as legitimate as a fight Well, yeah, I would say as legitimate as fighting any of the champions at 168, including Balderas, because Balderas is a solid dude, but Balderas could move a lot and is also very fast. But I think it is, at the end of the day, it is a fight. The power is the last thing to go, and versus a guy like Kovalev, size will matter. Guys, this is it. It was nice, sweet, and short. I just wanted to follow up and talk to you guys, a little bit. Do a follow up on what we had. This podcast, I guess the name, what we are gonna call it is gonna be the Lucrative Modern Family. So, guys, thank you guys again for listening. Make sure you guys click that like button or subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you guys leave anything on iTunes, whatever it is that people leave on there, comments, suggestions, and of course on Spotify, we're on Spotify as well. Again, thank you guys for listening to the Best Boxing Guru. Hasta luego.